Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night. It's another blog chat. I'm Matt Hill, and this is
I'm Tim Cooper.
welcome.
Thank you, Matt.
Look at that. Oh, we've already got comments coming in.
What? Where?
Yeah,
Oh, hold
we
on.
got
I got to get to the
Eunice.
comments.
We got Eunice.
There we go.
We got
Okay. Who wants
Steven.
popcorn?
I do. You make it? Hey, it's the season of caramel popcorn, isn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's true.
And popcorn. Yes, popcorn.
Hi, Eunice.
Awesome. So again, thank you so
hey.
much for checking in. We really appreciate you guys. Last Tuesday, we sort of all eyes were elsewhere, so we decided to be watching elsewhere too. Stuff happened. Here we are. It's another Tuesday, and it's blog chat time. Yeah.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So Tim.
Yes, sir.
You were just someplace. You want to tell us where that someplace was?
Yeah, Alabama Hills in Eastern Sierra. Amazing place. It's one of my favorite places. I've done daytime workshops there. I did a nighttime workshop there with Lance. And this is my second nighttime workshop there with Chris. And just a ton of fun. I mean, it's one of those places where wherever you turn, there's an image to be made. There's like a couple major icons, Lady Boot Arch and Mobius Arch and all these other things. And they're fantastic. They're great. But aside from that, you walk 10 feet away from these, one of these icons, and you're like, oh, whoa, this is fantastic. So while I was there with Chris, I decided to walk down this trail that I had never been down before. And I was like, oh my God, Chris, you've got to get down there. Such a target rich environment. And so it's a great place. It's a great place to go and photograph daytime or nighttime, especially at night. Yeah.
I'm a little jelly. I haven't made my way there yet. It seems like I've ignored California too much, and I have to change that.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much there. It's basically like the whole Eastern Seaboard. It's like from New York down to Florida, right? I mean, yeah, it's a big state.
It is a big state. It's gigantic. I know everybody's active in the chat, and you already know this because you guys are all veterans of this. However, during the live stream, leave your comments on Facebook. Leave them on Facebook. We'd love questions. Post them in the live chat. And at any time, you can also send us questions to adventure@nationalparksatnight.com. We love answering them. We answer them all.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. So you, while you were out at you guys have managed to run safely some workshops this year.
Yes,
you made a banger of an image, didn't you?
Well, I hate to say that. Yeah, I feel like that's
You're too modest.
I have an image that I'm really happy with. I actually got several images that I'm really happy with, both in Colorado, which I've not even processed yet, and then several from Alabama Hills and several from Yellowstone. And I've been so busy, I haven't even had a chance to really get in and work with them. Alabama Hills I have, but the others I haven't, and I'm so excited. So yeah, I did. And, it was a lot of fun because we sort of discovered something that we kind of already knew, but had forgotten about, having to do with the color of light and the Luxleys, using the Luxleys. And so that was kind of fun to rediscover and practice. And that was matching the Luxley light to the color of the moonlight. So as you know, a lot of us shoot at, I don't know about you, Matt, but I usually shoot around 3,800, 3,850 for my nighttime photography. Is that what you do?
I've been playing for a lot of it. Yes. 32, 38, 42. Those are my three favorite places to be.
Yeah. And so I shoot a lot at 38 when there's no, city light present. So when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're on a moonlight or a moonless night, I'm usually around 3,800. When I get closer to the cities and there's some city light coming in, then I'm down around 3,200. And of course, like I keep saying to everybody, that's, white balance is super subjective. These are just kind of starting points, things that I've found. Some people like 34, some people like 39, whatever, that's irrelevant, but just general places. So, yeah, so I was in Alabama Hills and we had some moonlight. And so typically I set my camera at 3800, just like I always do. And then set the Luxley to 3800. So it matches the white balance to my camera, just like I always do. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting because the rocks there are fairly neutral in color, maybe a little on the yellowish side, kind of whitish, yellowish. And whatever I was lighting became very reddish orange. And I thought, wow, that's really, a distinct color from the moonlight. And as you know, Matt, sometimes we'll use the moonlight as a fill, and sometimes we'll use the moonlight as a main, meaning we're either going to fill in the shadows with the moonlight, or we are going to use the moonlight as the main light. And so as I was experimenting with that, I think the neutral color of the rocks really brought it to the forefront, and really brought it to my mind, saying, hey, wait a second, I want to check this out and see what's going on. So I thought, well, moonlight is about 5,500K, just like the sun is. So let me set the Luxley to 5,500K so it better matches the moonlight. So hopefully the light that I fill in will be the same exact color as the moonlight, and it'll look more natural. That's not what we always go for. Sometimes it can be fantastical and, not necessarily natural, but that's the way I worked this particular shot. Yep.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Let's hop right in and take a look.
Sure.
And we get a little bit of a preview here, right? Top of our blog, has a nice header. So
yep, that's the final image. Yeah. And so, what I was looking at here is this was right by Cyclops Arch. So right behind me was the arch that's like super wow and really cool. And I think I've got a picture I can pull up in a little bit. But I just love the curves, the undulations of these rocks. But at the same time, that wall in the back had this incredible texture that's all over the Alabama Hills. All this granite is just so beautifully textured. And I thought, oh, well, I've got to get that texture as well. But the first thing that caught me was truly the moonlight coming through and just kissing the top of that curve of the rock. And that's what I wanted to capture. And that is just really pretty much the straight moonlight shooting right into the moon. Right. And so that was my goal. I saw this and I said, ooh, I like the undulations. I like the kissing and the, how the light is just wrapping around the roundness of that rock. And then I liked the texture on the background. And if I'd have just shot straight into the moon without any fill light, all that background would be completely black, right? Because it's being backlit. So that's what started the shot.
Wow.
And and then I also knew it was like, wow, in order to get the starburst, moonburst, moon star, I wanted to shoot. I also wanted to get star points. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm going to need to do the 6,400, kind of like our test shots that we do for shooting Milky Way and things like that. So, the first shot really was, a star point shot, just like anything else. So 6,400, I think that one was at, like 10 seconds or something like that. Shot it at f8 so that I would get, the star effect. And a lot of people think, oh, when you're shooting that, that sun star, you've got to stop down to f16 to get all those little rays. But that's actually not entirely true. The more you stop down, the more, or the starburst or the moonburst changes its amount of rays. And I'm not sure exactly what the correlation is there. But the wider angle lens that you use, the more starburst effect you can get at more wide open apertures. So yes, if I was shooting at like 100 millimeters or something and I wanted a starburst, I would probably stop down to f16. But you can get a starburst on, a 1424 millimeter lens, at 5.6 at f8. And so we'll zoom in on that starburst in a little bit, and we'll look at it. So yeah, so that was, as you see scrolling across now, 10 seconds at f8 at 6400. And that was the frame, for the sky. But I also knew that, if I ever wanted to blow this up and, have people look at it as a really nice print, I didn't want all that noise in the foreground. So, I wanted to shoot that at a lower ISO, somewhere around, 800 or 400, somewhere in that region. And this ended up being 800. But so then I had to plan a second set of shots on how that goes. So if you want, I can open up the 3 images here in Lightroom and kind of describe. Oh, shoot, actually, I don't have them. Do I have them open up here? Let me see. I thought I did, but maybe I don't even. Oh, I have another. Awesome. Yeah, I have another series. But give me 1 second here, and I can pull those up while you're while you're thinking about another question. It's only going to take a second. So
I'm just while you're doing that, I'm going to show them the location. Now, you described that this was near Mobius Arch.
This one was actually near Cyclops Arch, but I mean, a mile or something from Mobius Arch, so yeah. And gotcha. I think I now have
shows you what I don't know about the location.
Well, and why would you?
Hey, there's your moon and star.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. There you go. Yeah. And so you can see, and that was shot at f8. And so you're even getting, you're getting a really, what I think is a pretty cool starburst effect, even at f8. So it's not always necessary to stop all the way down to 16 for that starburst. And then, of course, that was the, I came to that exposure just using the NPF rule, I think, which was 10 seconds for that particular lens or somewhere in there. So get nice sharp star points. So actually, I do have that those 3 images up, Matt, if you'd like to take a peek at them.
Sure.
So I'll share my screen, bud.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So let's see. All right. How are we looking?
Here it comes.
We looking good?
Yep. On screen.
So you can see on this first image that this is just the straight moonlight coming in. So really no fill light in with any Luxleys at this point. But you've got the you've got the sun star, and we've kind of just looked at that, and you got your star points in here. This is the moonlight kissing and wrapping around over the rocks, and this being pretty darn dark back here. So this is where I said, okay, let me set up a fill light. So what I did was I went over here just out of the screen and set up a little tripod with a Luxley so that it would rake back across this. So it was really heavily side lit. And that was set at the typical 3800 to match my camera. Now imagine this now, this is a moonlit night. And again, the white balance on a moonlit night is kind of flexible. Here I set it to 3800K so that I would get this kind of blue sky effect, which some people don't like for night photography. Real purists know that there's really no blue in the sky at night and it's just kind of gray, and they go with that. I kind of like the blue. So even though the true white balance of the light was 5500K, I set my camera to 3800 to get the blue of the sky, if that makes sense. Then next, I added in the fill light. And you can see here, after I added in the fill light, and by the way, just look at this gorgeous rock texture in here, right? Ooh. I mean, this is just so fabulous. Ooh. And right, and I know I saw that. I was like, oh, I just want to rake a light across this and then just dive into this texture. So again, that light is.
We are so strange, by the way, but I love it.
I'm like a cat. I just want to run my paws across it and feel all that texture, right? So, yeah, so the light is set up way over here, just out of the camera's view, and way forward of the camera. So the light is really raking across from the side, which for you folks that don't do a lot of light painting or don't understand, will cause all this texture. You can see that the light is pretty far to the side because this little area right in here is all in shadow. So this is at a very oblique angle, almost 90 degrees to the rock. But look at the color, Matt. Check that out. Isn't that crazy? 3800.
Gorgeous.
And it's
Gorgeous.
very much reddish orange compared to the white neutral of the moonlight. So that's when I went over back to the Luxley. Actually, I think I used my my phone, the phone app. What's the name of that phone app? I always forget.
The Composer?
The Composer, yeah.
Yep. And
then changed it to 5500 to match the light. And let's see what that looks like. That is that. Oh. So you can see now this color of the rock is the same color as this rock, which it should be because they're the same rocks.
Yeah.
All right. And again, we're kind of looking in there at that beautiful texture and
can you flip back and forth in the zoomed in view?
Sure.
I want to see the difference.
So that is the neutral 5500K Luxley, and that is the 3800K matching my camera.
What a huge difference,
right? I brightened it a little bit too after some, because this is the final image. Sure. So I brightened that up a little bit, but
still, yeah, they look like the same stone now instead of two different geologic formations, right?
Exactly, because that looks different, and a lot of times we'll play with that fantasy sort of look. So for example, in another type of image from that same time, this was Mobius arch. And here you can see I did warm up the light a little bit because this is the color of the rock back here in the moonlight, and this is significantly warmer. And so, in an effort to get us going through this thing and back to Lone Pine Peak, I kept this warmer. So our eyes would be drawn in there, to the center of the circle in this area in here. But so here's an example of, making the light warmer as opposed to the same color temperature as the rock itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do me a favor and go flip back to your final image.
Yep.
Or the third image that you had. There you go.
Yep.
We have a question.
Oh,
Paul
excellent.
asks, how far away is the light from the rocks?
I would say probably 30 feet. This part of the scene was probably about 10 feet in front of me. And then this looks like it goes off to the right, but it really goes forward and off to the right. So the light is not quite as far as this distant rock, but it's kind of close to that, pointed way back in this direction. And I'd say that's probably about a good 30 feet. Yeah.
Good question, Paul. Thank you. And we have an affirmation. Texture is everything.
It is.
Completely agree. Yeah. And just while we're here, Sandra said it was a great week.
Oh, good, Sandra. It was a great week, wasn't it? Yep. It truly was. Yeah.
Nice.
So some of the other images that were shot at that same time kind of demonstrate a similar type of thing here. So this was Heart Arch, and actually Sandra was just actually below me when I was setting up this shot because I saw her light flashing around over in here. But basically all of this in here is all the moonlight. And then anywhere you see shadows or dimmer light, like in here, that is all fill light from a Luxley. And so once again, I matched the Luxley to 5500K to make it seem like it's more naturally lit. So in this case, we're using the moon as the main light because the moon is illuminating all of these areas of the rock. And then the fill this time is just like it was last time, is the Luxley matched to 5500K. That's
so delicately done. I wouldn't believe that you added any light at all.
Oh, well, that's good. That's I'm taking my cues from Lance now.
It's remarkable how it doesn't look like there's any man-made light in there whatsoever.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then in a different way, same approach with color, but kind of a different way of thinking about it was the boot arch or lady boot arch. So these other, some of those other images actually made before the workshop started. This one was during the workshop. And I believe actually Sandra was probably just on the other side of this arch at this point. But we got a bunch of tea lights and put the tea lights in this area. Can you see my mouse moving?
Yes. We can see
Yeah.
your mouse
So
moving.
we put the tea lights under this ledge here, and there was probably 4 or 5 of them, and there was just going straight up. And as you can see, the tea lights are very orange.
Mm.
So that was the start. As a matter of fact, I threw them up there, I think, before it even got dark. And then what happened is, as it started to get dark, people started of this, and I just ran around the other side to the back end of it. And so that was the start. Now here, what I'm doing is I'm actually using the moon as a fill light. So this is the moonlight in here. All in here is moonlight. This is moonlight. All this back in here is moonlit, but I left it darker. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to add in a light, but I wanted to make that light brighter. So I made the Luxley the key light, and the full moon in this case is the fill light. So what I did was I went behind this rock down through this little trench and hid a light behind this rock that was probably about, I would say 10 feet from this rock, but probably about 20 feet in front of me behind here. And I wanted to push the light back this way. So what I did was added in that light here.
Oh.
Right. So now you can see it's kind of raking towards us. And again, for those people that have not done much light painting, you're seeing all of the shadows being pushed towards us. So the light is coming from this angle, and here is the shadow. The light is wrapping around this rock, and here's the shadow, right? Same thing there. So this again was matched to 5500K, but this time it's the main light, and the moon is actually the fill light. And then we just let it stay open for quite some time and made the star trails.
Get out! That's gorgeous.
Oh, thanks, man.
Wow.
So yeah,
we have a question from Ed.
Sure.
Sorry to get you off track here, but
no,
do
not at all.
you have the exposure info for this? Shutter f stop ISO.
Yeah. Let's see. So that was a series of, I don't know how many images at 120 seconds. So that's 2 minutes. And it was probably, 40 or 50 images or something.
Mm-hmm.
No, at 2 minutes, it would have been, it went for about an hour and a half or so. So.
Nice.
And ISO 100.
Ken popped in to say hello.
Hey, Ken.
Lady Boot Arch is intriguing because it looks great from a number of different angles. The tea lights have
it
really
does.
nice, beautiful orange
It
glow.
really does. And, this is the kind of thing that the students were getting from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And this was an image made several years ago with Lance. And here you can see I'm not at all attempting to keep the light neutral along with the moonlight. And the moon is right in here, but it's all warm light. Mm-hmm. And once again, the tea light's back up in here. And then this being a Luxley light that I'm moving, it's not stationary, but I'm moving it. And I think that's an interesting thing to point out, because here you can see the light is really wrapping around the rock. So here is our highlight, and then it sort of wraps around the rock. And look at how illuminated this shadow is compared to this highlight, where in a situation like this, the shadows are really quite hard and we don't get that same amount of wrapping. And that's because instead of just keeping the light stationary in one position throughout the exposure, I moved probably 6 feet to my left and 6 feet to the right as I was painting this. So I was like painting with the light panel itself, which softens these shadows right in here. And so you can really see here, let me get this to like 2:1 or something. Let's go to 50%. You can see the highlight is in here, and then it gets a little darker, but there's still fill light in here. So if the light was just coming from this direction, this would really be pure black. So this was an attempt to really bring out the roundness of those rocks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I've always noticed about the tea lights is they are not a CCT. They're not a correlated color temperature.
They are not.
They are missing color spectrum, which is why they create that color cast. It's not a color temperature that, I don't know. It doesn't have all of the colors, right? So
It doesn't. And you know what is really interesting along with that, because we can see the same issue here. Let's look at the final image here. We can see the same issue. So I had attempted at one point to, as many of you guys know, you can go into Lightroom and you can play with the here. Let's just pull this up. You can play with hue, saturation, and luminance of colors. And so at one point I thought, oh, I'd really like this to be neutral or more neutral along with these colors in here. So I said, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my hue. Excuse me. I'm going to go to my hue, click on my target, and change that hue to better match this. I do this all the time with different flashlights and Luxury lights and stuff. But
now for everybody who's watching, when Tim shared his window, he shared part of Lightroom and not the whole thing. So we can't see the developed panels right now. So,
I'm sorry. How can I change
he's describing it perfectly, though. You could stop the share and start it again and share the whole application. That is
okay. So let's go to share screen and show my entire screen. Thanks for cluing me into that.
No worries.
Because I didn't know that was the way of things.
There we go.
So how about now?
Perfecto.
Excellent. So I wanted to change this orange. So there's two things I would typically do. One would be to go into the hue and change just that hue by going to the target selector here, clicking on that until I see my two arrows present. And then I can push and pull this to change the hue of just that color. Now, of course, that's going to happen anywhere in the image that color exists, but in this case, it only exists in here. So what I would do is I'd click and I'd push down. I'd say, oh, that's getting more red. I don't like that. So now I'm going to push up until it gets more yellow, something more like that. And then what I would do is go over to the saturation slider. And once again, I can see my two arrows, so I know my direct selector is working. And I would pull that saturation down to try to better match that overall color. The issue is what you're talking about, and this prompted me to go down this rabbit hole, Matt, is that it's not a full color spectrum. So when we zoom in here, it doesn't always look really realistic. It looks kind of fake. That type of fakeness, that you wouldn't get from a light source that had a full color spectrum to it. So, I better put that back or I'll mess up my example slides here.
Now we had a question. What are the tea lights exactly? I'm going to share my screen for a second so you guys can see. It's just the LED tea lights. They come in, I don't know, multi-packs, and they either come with coin cells. I guess there's rechargeable ones now. But basically, they're like a little white votive candle with a battery inside and a switch on the bottom, and a fake flame on the top that casts this orange color. Now, these have RF remotes and stuff, so you could see lots of crazy stuff going on. So, so that's basically what's going on. Did you guys see it? Did my screen show up?
Okay, I was seeing it. Yeah.
Good. All right. So,
yeah.
So they're great because for people that have accidentally set something on fire with votive lights, these are very safe. They're also great at restaurants and such. Because the wait staff doesn't burn their fingers getting them in and out of the glasses. So there's lots of great reasons, and you throw a bunch of them in your bag and they're just there and you can scatter them around a scene, but they come with some disadvantages like not being full spectrum. So
yeah, but it's nice. It's interesting that they do work so well. I mean, aside from the color issue, which there is that, but boy, they really work well just to light little tiny areas that would almost be impossible with a Luxley or a flashlight or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water pockets for sure in sandstone. They usually set just nice in those little water pockets.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Perfect.
Yeah. We have some other questions or comments.
Okay.
So let's see. Wow, I think Ken Lee is on both Facebook and YouTube right now. So here's a compliment.
Oh, thanks, Ken. Ken's a great photographer, so it's always nice to be complimented by others in that arena.
Thanks, Ken. Marge said she loves it. This was funny. Regarding the LED tea lights, the poor man's Luxley.
Poor man.
And then, of course, no wonder they look like a campfire. They are intended to emulate fire. So,
Yeah.
I usually keep 5 to 10 of them in my go bag. You know, they come in handy.
Yeah. You know, it'd be nice to end up having a small little light. And I don't know if the new Luxley thing will serve this purpose, but or even if we're talking about that, I don't know. But it would be nice to have small little lights that we can control the color temperature on, and maybe someday we'll get that. And
Someday,
because those tea lights are just perfect. They're just they match perfectly with 6400 ISO.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, these are just the perfect brightness, you know? So.
Well, you know what's funny is I did see that there are ones that have remotes. I just saw that for the first time when I did that little Google search.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Technology is driving stuff. People love remote controlled things with colors and, you know, batteries and stuff. So, and like, there's always more little lights coming out. So
whoa, what's that?
This is a lot of companies are coming out with little battery operated LEDs.
Ooh.
That have magnets in them, and they have color temperature and RGB and all of them. This one's from Nanolight. I've been using this lately. You have a Powerful Tube 2.
I do. I've got 2 of them, and I love them. Yeah.
Yeah. So this has magnets also. You know, so you can stick it on to. So imagine when you're doing some of the stuff you do with automobiles. You know, just sticking this to the rusty underside of something or inside the hood. You know.
Oh.
Or like. Yeah, like this. That's a good opportunity for this, and so I'm sure that there's more than one company that's doing this, and they usually come with diffusers too. And since it's rechargeable via USB, like that's the future of small lights like this.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if some brands that we love were going to do it too. So,
hey, can you put that link up?
I can
for the Nanolight, because I think it would seem to me that a lot of people that are joining us here would be interested in that. If I'm interested in it, it sounds cool to me. You know.
Yes.
Do you think that goes a little bit less bright than the Luxley Zilla?
Yeah, it has fewer LEDs. So, yes. So this one, I'll put up the link in a second. It's called the Lito Light, LITO Light 5C. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to grab that link right now and copying that. And we'll put it right in the stream here and send that out.
Can I agree?
I like it a lot. I'm still testing it, so I cannot vouch for it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it does at its very lowest settings, but I've been having fun doing some light painting with it.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting to point out too, because we had talked about this a little bit on the other photograph where I actually moved the LED is, well, 2 things. Number one is that, we often think of the LED panel as a stationary thing that we can use for low level landscape lighting, and the flashlight, something that we're always, popping around. But the truth of the matter is that, the flashlight is that big, right? And the panels are bigger. So they're a softer light by their nature. But then when you take that panel and move it, it becomes a softer light even yet. And so the idea of moving your light panel around during an exposure creates a soft light that's still directional. It's not like a lot of other light sources that you can use or even set up, and so it just adds another dimension into our light painting. Oh dear, look at this.
All of these lights have FX modes, so this is the candlelight mode. So
well, that would make it even less bright.
Yeah,
if you needed something, right? Because you would have half the light coming out
for sure. You turn it down to speed 001, so it's pulsing very.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking if you set it at the lowest power setting and then put it on pulse, it would give you half that amount of light.
Yep.
Which would be awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
So the second thing that I thought about was that in the upcoming Optic conference, Chris and Lance and myself will be talking about light painting with LED lights. So if you guys aren't in on that, check that out. It's upcoming in a couple weeks. So check out Optic at B&H. It's going to be a good conference.
This is Optic AllStars, right?
Yeah, AllStars.
AllStars. That feels good, right?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing there, but there it is.
We're honored. We're honored.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. So,
wow. But light is so fascinating, isn't it?
What's that?
Light is so fascinating, isn't it?
Like composition, it's one of the two things you will study all of your life as a photographer. You will never fully understand it, and it'll always be a constant source of fascination and study, or it should be a source of fascination and study. It's never ending. And while the basic concepts of quality and size of the light versus color versus the intensity, I mean, that's it. You got three basic concepts there. But it's so nuanced and varied, Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is. I know we've geeked out on it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So look at that. We have some
good, Martha.
We have a confirmation.
Yay, awesome. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it is this weekend. Do we want to put a link to that?
Is it the weekend? It could
fine.
be. I don't know. I thought it was next weekend, but maybe it is. Yeah, maybe we should put maybe we should put a link to that. Maybe I should figure this out because I'm going to be there. So better get on this.
I got it. So let's say B&H Optic AllStars. There's the link coming through right now.
Awesome.
And it's November 22nd through 23rd online.
Excellent. Can you send me a calendar invite so I know when to appear?
I'm already on it. I'm already on it. Yes. So Martha, great. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks for signing up. We look forward to seeing you there. And you know what? This is going to be fun. And this is the time. I mean, we're doing it right now, right? We're going to gather and do what we love the safest way we can, and I really love, shaking people's hands, getting them hugs, and, seeing them at Optic. And I miss that. I miss that connection. But you know what? We have to make do and do the best we can with the boundaries that we have. And this is one way to do it. We can still have community. It's just going to be slightly different than normal.
Yeah. And along that lines, I was very pleasantly surprised at how the workshops that we've run during COVID have been, they're not quite exactly the same, because there's not as much classroom time, but still seeing the faces, you could look at somebody from 15 feet away without your masks on while you're out shooting, and you're still out shooting, and it's a lot better than nothing at all, Right. So I've been very, very pleased with being out with the students and being out with the folks and all the participants and just having a good time doing what we love. Yeah.
That's the important part. Doing what we love and doing it again and doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We had a question if NPAN I'm sorry, if Optic AllStars is going to be recorded. Ken, historically, B&H has recorded all of that, and since they're going to be holding it online, I'm 99% sure they're going to record it so you can watch it later. But I can't vouch for that. But I'm pretty sure they will.
Yeah, that I'm not sure about either, Matt. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's history says that they're going to,
Yeah.
and we'll see, right? Yes, I miss going to workshops too.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I went from whatever February to all the way up until September without being on a workshop. And, you know, for us, it's like, you know, that's what we do. So 8, 9, 10 a year. And
right.
Yeah, it was a hard transition to make, but boy, it sure felt good being back out there again. It really
Right?
did. Yeah.
Martha just asked us which workshops still have openings. Well,
oh boy, there's a few. I don't think a ton, but there's got to be at least 4 or 5. I think that are still.
Let's see.
Still open. Boy, Shenandoah, Blue Ridge, yeah.
Shenandoah, yeah. Blue Ridge, post processing, yep. Sequoia. How did Sequoia have spots left?
I have no bloody idea.
That's cray.
Yeah.
And
Barcelona in 22. Yeah. But you know, for Martha and other people that have this question, you know, if we always recommend getting on the wait list, especially in these days, people are coming up to the last minute and thinking, you know what, I really don't feel comfortable, or have something happen, and a spot or two almost always opens up. So get on that wait list, and it doesn't matter how far down you are, because you know, a lot of people can't make it last minute, and so it's a really good you know, get on the wait list, and you may find that it works out for you.
Right.
Yeah. Charleston. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Charleston, Martha. That's coming up in a couple of weeks, actually, the day after Thanksgiving. We're heading down there. And so I'm really looking forward to that. It's snowy where I am right now and below 0. So I'm kind of looking forward to the warmth of Charleston.
Yeah. So if any of you want to join the wait list, just to be absolutely clear, you can go to the page and scroll down. And there's a couple of buttons there that say join the wait list. It'll take you to this page where you just give us some vital information. It costs absolutely nothing. You can choose to sign up for multiple wait lists at the same time, all at once. You can save your time, and then hit submit down at the bottom. And it's very easy. So great question, Martha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alicia says, it was great to spend so much time outside during the Colorado workshop. Didn't feel like we were missing anything.
Yeah, it really was nice. It really was nice. I mean, the one thing is that, you know, it's great having the classroom time to go over images and image reviews and lectures and things. But it's also nice being outside, you know. And so we were in Colorado. We were outside almost the whole time. And it was just lovely, the fall foliage and the mountains, and we had great Milky Ways. And yeah, thanks for saying so, Alicia. I agree. It was a ton of fun.
Martha, best cheerleader ever, Charleston. It's going to be beautiful, right? It's going to be beautiful.
Oh, you know, what's interesting is Martha, I don't think I've ever seen your name written with the Fabra in the middle, and I didn't know I was talking to you. So hi, Martha. Now I know who you are.
Oh boy. Wow. So if you missed this, if you're seeing the replay, just remember, you can always leave a question down in the comments. We read and respond to those also, or send an email to adventure@nationalparks@night. We love the questions. We love the community. We love hanging out with you guys. Martha asked if we're going to do a slideshow of these workshops. We usually put them together 50% of the time, right?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I think the Colorado one is already up on YouTube, and I think Yellowstone might be up as well. I can't recall. That was a good 2 or 3 weeks ago now. That was like 2 years ago. But yeah, Colorado is up. So yeah.
To send people to we will send you guys. Oh, if you're already there on YouTube, you kind of know where our channel is, but just in case,
Yeah.
here's our YouTube channel. I'm posting it in the comments. And you'll be able to see the latest things that we've done in the playlist that we have there. Student slideshow. Colorado is definitely there. I see that. So I'll post that also into the, and boom, there's Colorado. All right.
Perfect.
And that's coming through. All right. Well, thanks for asking that, Martha. I love watching the slideshows. You know, when I have an idle moment and I'd like to relive or vicariously live another workshop I didn't get to go to, I really like watching them. They're peaceful and illuminating, and the pun is fully intended. Yeah.
True that. True that.
So, at the bottom of it all, Tim, thank you for your generosity. Thanks for sharing how you did this.
Oh yeah.
I know being an educator is important to you, and is why you've dedicated your career to it. But you know, it bears thanks and gratitude.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing what you do.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Yeah, you're so welcome. And thanks for everybody for showing up and listening and having interest in being a part of the community. Yeah, we love it.
We miss you guys. Yep. So I guess this is we're drawing to a close. This is the end of this week's blog chat. Again, feel free to participate anytime. We love answering those questions. And we will see you in Instagram Live this week. I'm sure we have something interesting going on. I'm ashamed to say I forget exactly what it was.
Yeah, I think we've got another night photographer coming up. Is it Rachel Ross?
Rachel Ross Jones? Is that who's coming
so.
up? Yeah.
If that's not this week, it's next week. I think that's upcoming though. Yeah.
It's going to be fun no matter what it is.
Yeah, Gabe's always a good time.
Rick Noel? Okay, so yeah, it's going to be fun. So join Gabe on Instagram Live. Those are fun. I love being interviewed by Gabe, and I like watching what he does. His gift of the gab is strong.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And Marge, thank you, Marge Pearson. I didn't realize that, but that makes me feel good.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that's
Chris,
awesome.
Chris just confirmed what you said. Chris, I'm so sorry. Rachel Jones Ross is joining us on Instagram Live tomorrow. It's a big deal. I personally admire her portraiture work so much. I think that she's an amazing artist, and I love what she does. So I think you guys should have a really good, fun time.
Yeah.
Leading into that with Gabe.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to join in. I want to see that.
Yeah. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in now or in the future. If this is the future for you, which is the present, and it's all circular, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.